Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, A Lovely Day in Bai's Little World and quote. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. The morning sun slipped softly through the curtains, painting warm golden lines across the floor. Before the alarm clock could even think about ringing, Bai was already awake. His small paws tapped lightly against the tiles as his tail swished back and forth like a happy metronome, keeping time with the quiet morning. Bai stretched slowly, front paws forward, hind legs back, his tiny body forming a perfect arch. Then he looked at me with bright, shining eyes that seemed to say, "A new day is here. Let's not waste it." Outside, the air was fresh and cool. Dew clung to the grass, sparkling like tiny crystals. Bai stepped carefully onto the lawn, sniffing every corner as if the garden had written new stories overnight just for him. A butterfly drifted lazily past his nose, and he froze, watching with intense curiosity rather than chasing it. He noticed everything: the rustle of leaves, the distant crow of a rooster, the soft hum of a motorbike far away. To Bai, the world was not noisy or overwhelming. It was full of gentle discoveries. When I called his name, he trotted back proudly, as if he had completed an important morning mission. Breakfast followed. Simple kibble, but he ate it with deep gratitude, pausing between bites to wag his tail at me. Watching Bai start his day reminded me how rarely we humans greet the morning with joy. We rush, we scroll, we worry, but Bai simply arrived in the day, fully present and ready to love it. By mid-morning, Bai's little world expanded beyond the yard. We walked along the quiet village path where the scent of soil, leaves, and distant cooking fires floated in the air. Bai walked beside me with a calm, proud rhythm, occasionally glancing up to make sure we were still together. Every step was an adventure. He stopped to greet an elderly neighbor, wagging his tail politely. He didn't bark or jump, just stood close, radiating friendliness. The neighbor laughed and bent down to pat his head, and Bai accepted the affection with gentle dignity. Further along the path, he discovered a fallen mango leaf and carried it proudly for several meters as if it were a great treasure. When the wind lifted it away, he watched it tumble with quiet fascination rather than frustration. We passed children playing. Bai sat down automatically, observing them like a thoughtful guardian. One little girl approached slowly and touched his back. He remained perfectly still, offering calm reassurance through his presence. Bai never demanded attention. He simply created a safe space where kindness could happen. At the edge of the path, a tiny puddle reflected the sky. Bai stepped into it, surprised by the cool sensation, then pawed gently at the water, creating ripples that broke the clouds into dancing fragments. He looked at me as if to say, "Did you see that? I can move the sky." In the afternoon, the heat settled softly around us. Bai napped near the doorway, belly rising and falling in peaceful rhythm. Occasionally, he twitched in dreams, perhaps chasing butterflies or floating clouds. His sleep carried a message. Rest is not laziness, it is restoration. As evening arrived, the sky softened into shades of peach and lavender. Bai sat beside me watching the fading light, his body leaning gently against my leg. He did not need grand adventures, expensive toys, or constant excitement. His happiness came from presence, safety, and connection. In today's fast-moving world, we often measure life through productivity, speed, and digital noise. Bai reminds us that fulfillment lives in simpler places: a quiet walk, shared silence, a gentle touch, and the comfort of being seen without judgment. Living with animals teaches empathy. They respond not to status or wealth, but to tone, patience, and care. When we slow down to meet their rhythm, we rediscover our own humanity. From Bai, we can learn to pause before reacting, to notice small beauties around us, and to offer kindness without expecting anything in return. Caring for an animal also nurtures responsibility and emotional awareness, qualities deeply needed in modern society. If we bring Bai's spirit into our daily lives, moving slower, loving more openly, and respecting all living beings, we build a gentler world. Sometimes, peace is not something we must search for. It is something waiting quietly beside us, wagging its tail.